completely. Yeah. I think he's here. Oh, the one who rings the bell. Yeah. He's here. I'm gonna invite him to speak. Had to say it to believe, but now you see the magic. This was all a prophecy. Really ain't stopping me. This is no illusion. It's a moment who I gotta be. You can tell, you can tell. When I ring the bell, when I ring the bell. Put him in a spell when I ring the bell. Got him in a spell when I ring the bell. Put him in a spell when I ring the bell. When I ring the bell. I got the magic in my palm, in my palm. It's getting tragic when I'm on. Enemies be gone. I cannot do any wrong. See me in a hood and cape. I don't need a wand with the wizardry. It's time heavenly, divine mystery, supernatural. My presence is magical. No tricks, this is actual. Life is so fantastical. This was all a prophecy. Really ain't no stopping me. This is no illusion, it's a movement who I gotta be. You can tell, you can tell. When I ring the bell, when I ring the bell. Put 'em in a spell when I ring the bell. Got 'em in a spell when I ring the bell. Put 'em in a spell when I ring the bell. When I ring the bell. All right, I gotta get this up because I'm hit by now. Green Master 1.22 ETH. 1.22 for a Dream Master. Okay, twin of the iconic One Who Rings. The iconic One Who Rings. Welcome to our Wednesday cult meeting. We are wizards, and today is the magical day we call Wizard Wednesday. Channeling in with quantum style through the quantum downs. This is Elf.
And Dota.
And Dead Snake.
Oh no.
You know, I saw Dead Snake in the Secret Tower, and I was like, who the hell is this? And why are they trying to be Bear Snake?
Yeah.
I'm not going to be able to talk much today because I've been decapitated by the Hall of Cats.
Yeah, that's my next question. Why is the Hall of Cats decapitating everybody? What's the deal?
Well, I just think they have an issue with contributions, and they're just making a lot of demands, and it's gotten out of control. I still fully support Hall of Cats. I think there's a lot building there. There's some really great ideas that I'm sure someone from HOC will come on stage today. But for now, there's just a lot of blood and guts.
Yeah, my impression is that the Hall of Cats has been out of control since day one.
Yeah. I hear nothing but drama from the Discord.
Which is to be expected when you're in a Hall of Cats.
We have a big show today. We've got a lot of cult questions. We've got a 3D update. We're gonna question the wizard in our midst, our very own Jitsi and his accomplishments over the weekend. We've got Black Sands updates, and we've got cult content. So yeah, I mean, let me just jump right into the questions. Speaking of the Hall of Cats, Brady is asking, why is Hall of Cats still below the sales chat? I don't know. Jitsi, is there? Do you know why?
No, I still don't know to this day how that happened. It's just one big blur, but it's comfortably sitting there now.
Okay, there's your answer, Betty. Bridge is asking, is there a plan for cleaning up the blood coming out of Hall of Cats? Good question, because it certainly is bloody, and I don't know who's going to clean it up. I don't know. Maybe someone from the Hall of Cats wants to talk about their bloodlust, but I don't have an answer to that. Okay, Slim has two questions. This first one is for you, Bear. Bear, why do you support such a sad football team?
My gosh. I mean, my sad football team's #1 in the world, so if they're sad, stay sad because it's working. And we're talking about the Philadelphia Eagles, and I just want to go on record. I'm not some crazy sports fan. I literally don't watch anything except for the Philadelphia Eagles. So sorry, Slim. And also, Slim, I'm coming. I still have a Warrior to put on the line for the betting on the game.
Wow.
We're betting a Warrior each for
Damn.
a team.
Okay. Right on. Slim also asks, where do you see the Wizards 10 years in the future? That's a pretty big question. I think I think there's a chance that the singularity could occur by that time. So I think if you want to know where we see the Wizards, just look in the mirror because we will merge with our Wizards. I don't know. Do you guys have an answer to that?
In 10 years?
10 years.
Gosh. Well, hopefully I'm going to be getting more sleep, but that's a personal goal of mine. In 10 years, I think kids will be playing with Forgotten Runes toys all over the
Love it.
world. I think we will have innovated much sooner than 10 years, but will innovate a path to like onboard the rest of the world into digital assets or digital collectibles. And yeah, I just think we're going to be a household name. That's it.
Yeah, I remember somebody asked this question in a Spaces we were in a few weeks ago, and like we can speculate about the expansion of the franchise itself, but I think like the bigger goal and the more interesting goal is just like if we can do this right, then not only does it mean that Forgotten Runes is big and successful, but the entire entertainment industry will have been disrupted. If we can execute this sort of horizontal IP structure where IP is not owned by some corporation and it's a one-way street, top down, but it's a two-way street on every level, creatively, financially, legally, all of that. That to me is like the real 10-year goal. Okay. Blackwater is asking, win game. Blackwater, I'm going to assume you're talking about the Runiverse game, which I don't think there's a solid answer on that. However, if you mean the Goblin Town game, Dota, win game.
Oh yeah, I don't think there's a solid answer on that either. But yeah, I mean, I think like we're aiming for sort of like end of February, like to hopefully have an internal playable for the next couple of weeks, and I think we'll have a better answer then once we start to get that rolling out. Matto's here. Matto, maybe you have any ideas on kind of what you're seeing, but I don't think we have a hard date for the Runiverse game.
Oh, so yeah, actually, I was reading those on the Secret Tower. We do not have a hard date. We are definitely getting closer. I know that obviously we put out recently that the private investor plots were starting to get delivered. I did see that there was a question about whether those plots could be transferred or not. They are not transferable. Those were as part of the deal but those private plots. For the sale of those plots, they are unable to leave those wallets for, I don't have the exact period of time in my head right now, but it's quite a while that they have to. So
I think that it's a linear vest over a couple of years, and so I think that at the most technical level, I think that some of the early plots could be transferred, but I think from our perspective, like ideally they're not selling them. There's not too much volume there prior to the public sale.
Right. And also, as another note, like even though they have like those plots delivered to them, not all of those plots are going to be readily available to them. Like some of those are allocated to like kind of spots of the Runiverse map that haven't been kind of developed yet. And then as the game gets developed more, then those plots will kind of be delivered. So like over time, they'll have like more of those lands to them. It's not like you're going to have like a complete monopoly over the entire Runiverse map once it comes out.
Right. So that's an important point. Okay. So just to like clarify on that, which is the the total plots of the Runeverse is capped at 70,000, and that's like all time, all plots. Maybe it takes 5 years to actually sell all those. I don't know. I don't know exactly what the plan is. And then this first round had about 10,000 plots sold, and then I think when we do the public sale, it'll be like roughly that many, right? Like maybe it's a little higher, maybe it's a little lower. But the idea is not that sort of these private sale investors will now then kind of have ownership of half the world, but rather that those plots that they bought will, because when the game launches, it's not launching with the entire world at once, right? We'll launch with some of the initial zones and sort of expand as the game needs. And so, yeah, that's an important point, which is like the investors' plots that were sold in the original round will not all be playable on day one. They'll kind of grow into it as the game grows.
Right. Thanks for elaborating on that as well, because I saw that there were some people who had concerns about how many plots were given, but they're being allocated in a way that makes sense for the later and development of the game. So
Yep.
Yeah, speaking of land plots, and maybe you already answered this, Tupis21 is asking, the land plots on OS and the private sale, are they protected from trading for the time being?
So the answer there is sort of. So they're actually vesting every block over a couple of years. So that means that since I think there's like a few hundred that technically could trade. But again, it's a smaller group of people who we kind of know personally who own those. And so, we're not looking for there to be a lot of volume on those plots before the public sale starts. So technically, sort of, socially, I guess also sort of.
And then Snoop Dogg is asking, for the different size plots of land, roughly how much do we need to be saving up? Like, is a 4x4 a village, and it's just bulk buying the plots, or is there a multiplier effect?
Okay. So one of the cool things about this game, a couple of things. I don't have the price sheet in front of me, but we basically priced the private sale in USD terms at like very reasonable price, and those will map over when we do the public sale. So it for sure should be affordable, and it's pegged to USD, so that way there's not like a huge kind of difference relative to whatever ETH was at the time. An important thing to know about this game is that it's not like a piece of graph paper where we just slice up the entire world into these little square blocks and anyone can buy every single plot of land. No, not at all. There are only zones within the game that are available for building as a house, and at the same time, even those plots are not contiguous, by which I mean they're not like next to each other. You can't buy like two 4x4s and combine them, to make like a plot that's the size of both of them all together. And so they don't touch. They're laid out in this like very organic way, like you might notice like a village would be naturally, and they're separated by basically land that is not empty space, but like the rest of the kind of game. And so, yeah, so there is a non-linear effect in sort of the yield output from the land because they're just infrastructure that also requires a certain size. So there are structures that you just can't build on like the smallest plot, which I guess I said 4x4, but I think the smallest plot is actually 8x8. So there's some infrastructure that you have to have a 32x32 even to build that like piece of equipment at all. So there is benefits to getting the larger plots.
Yeah, there's different sizes of plots you can buy, but you don't necessarily put a bunch of plots together to build a thing, right?
That's right. Yeah, you don't combine the plots.
And then just to touch on Doug's question, do you have any idea of exact prices, or do you not want to say that yet?
The prices are known, but I don't know that they've been published, and I don't have them in front of me. We'll tell you as soon as we get closer. But it's like
there'll be
pretty
more.
reasonable.
There'll be more
it's like a few $100. Like you can get like 8x8 is in order of like hundreds. It's not $1,000.
Yeah,
cool.
Yeah. I have the prices floating. I think that right now there's kind of like a little bit of leeway for the change, but yeah, they'll be very reasonable for you're not going to have to save up too much if you want just like a plot.
Okay, and then one final Runiverse game question. Shroomlord is asking, any possible timeline or hint on when there will be another demo test for holders? Demo testing for holders. A timeline on that?
That'll be quite soon. I know we've been teasing this for a while, but like I said, as we're getting close to our land sale, we are going to have our closed beta. We had over the holiday week for like New Year's, we had Magic Machine kind of come in to do a closed alpha test and get their thoughts on it. We are having very soon, by either probably like this week or next week, we're going to have a closed one for kind of like private investors, and then we're going to have in waves we're going to kind of open up for more people to come in for private testing. So look forward to, I want to say over the next month or so we're going to have more information on that's going to happen. And like I said, it's going to be closed at first. We're going to kind of gradually open up the gates for more people to come in. So even if you don't get in the first wave, there's opportunities as we roll through and we get kind of more feedback from people.
Awesome, Matto. Thank you. Okay, Tanya has a really fun question. It's something that I've been thinking about for a long time, and we've talked about in past Wizard Wednesdays. She says, "When Forgotten Peasants 100K collection?" I think what she's talking about is like this potential collection we talk about doing in the future, where we introduce 100,000 new characters in the collection, but they're not wizards, they're not warriors, they're just like normies, peasants. The reason to do something like this would be to like open up the Forgotten Runiverse to a bunch of people, make a more comfortable entry level collection. There's certainly a lot of controversy around this. We can go deep, but to answer your question directly, when TBD, if ever at all. Bear, did you want to say something?
Yeah, I just wanted to chime in. I think, we definitely don't have any like concrete plans. I think this concept, though, of creating a collection at that kind of scale would have to go hand in hand with like a larger media expression type of thing, like be that like the television show launch or the Runiverse game reaching a milestone or what have you. I think it would be important that everybody know that, of course, our current collections are like the Genesis collections and Wizards being at the top of those. But this concept of, most people in the world, the 8 billion other people that aren't in crypto, probably can't afford digital collectibles at the price. Yeah.
Yep.
And so what does it look like? What does it look like for, a kid to walk up to one of his parents and say, hey, like, I love Forgotten Realms, can I get a digital collectible? We have to make sure that there's a way for them to come in, comfortably.
Yep, it's something I think about a lot. How to scale to the mainstream when you've got 2 million fans loving your IP and they want a digital component. What do you give them? I'm not going to answer the question now, but like it's something fun to think about.
I don't.
They can always get a chocolate frog.
What's that, Matto?
I was saying they can always get a chocolate frog from Athenium.
Totally.
I'm not like super into the Forgotten Peasants idea at the moment, given the way like anything is working right now. Like you can kind of imagine this like sort of far out scenario, but like okay, a couple of things that I think about. One would be this idea around like having an entry level character asset. I think that like the warriors are already entry level. Like the warrior price is completely affordable if you are trying to go into like kind of get this sort of like collectible that you can sort of trade and build out the character. Like a warrior costs right now as much as like a Nintendo Switch, for example. So I think that like if we start to see our assets kind of outpricing sort of things that you already see people buy as kind of like a consumer product, then maybe we can talk about it. But then even then, maybe not, because I think also secondarily, when you talk about this idea of like people collaborating on a character, I actually think that there's like a Dunbar number of characters that people can even like pay attention to and like share as a community, right? Even when you look at, like, let's say Game of Thrones, where they have this massive world, I think that the number of characters in the whole series is like fewer than 500, something like that. Like, and if we sat down here as a group and named them all without looking it up, we probably couldn't reach 200. And so I think that, like, when we talk about this idea around like people collaborating around an IP, trying to make a character valuable, and then sharing in the value of what they created, I actually think that I'm more interested in looking at ideas of what people like Party DAO are doing, where you get like a group of people who collaborate to make one character legendary. Before I think that you dilute the kind of assets with 100,000 characters, right? Because you're not just diluting like the, let's say, market price, which, but rather you're diluting like even just the attention of like just the number of people you're even able to pay attention to. And like, do you know what I mean by the Dunbar number?
Yeah, I know what that is.
So just in case anyone doesn't, the Dunbar number is like this idea that there's like this like limit, like a cognitive limit on like the number of people that you can even kind of keep track, right? You can only know like whatever it is, like it's like 150 people in your life before you just like can't even keep track of the faces, for example. And so I don't know. I think that like the IP will have a limit there that's probably even less than 10,000, frankly. And so, yeah, I don't know. I love the idea of Forgotten Villagers. Third, but like I don't think we're ready. And then thirdly, I think with, for example, the Runiverse game, it will be free to come in and play and like have this sort of like player character. And so I think that's another thing that kind of like fills a bit of that role. Those aren't going to be like tradable character NFTs in the same way, but if you just want to like come and participate, collect equipment and XP, I don't know, that feels similar to me. So yeah, I love the idea of the art of like, the Forgotten Bakers or whatever. Like if someone wants to do that as a community project, that's fine, but I just don't see us making that like anytime soon.
Definitely not anytime soon. I think that's the one thing we all agree on. The market would not support it. It makes no sense anytime soon. Everything else you said, we could debate, but for another time. Okay.
Don't invite me to that meeting. I don't want to play mediator.
Bear, we need you as the middleman, as always.
Yeah, we need you to be the mediator.
Fine.
Okay, so speaking of the Athenaeum, Virgilus asks, can you give a few more uses for the Athenaeum collection? Yeah, so when the Athenaeum was first dropped through the treat boxes of our Halloween event, the baseline utility is, of course, as is every token in the universe, storytelling. And I have certainly seen a lot of really fun storytelling occur on Twitter, in the Book of Lore, elsewhere around these items. So that's the baseline. Now, other mechanical utilities in the future. Yeah, I mean, we've talked in a few Wizard Wednesdays ago about this staking thing that we're building. We're not going to really talk about that much today, but I will say that there's potentially uses for Athenaeum items there. We have a shapeshift feature that we're working on that Athenaeum items will be used for. You could imagine a thing in the future where perhaps you could put one of the Athenaeum items in your wizard's hand instead of the current item they are holding. This, of course, would apply to the shapeshift token and not to, it wouldn't affect the actual rarity metrics of the core collection. It's just cosmetic. But those are just a few things just right off the top of my head. I don't know if you guys want to add anything to that.
Yeah, we talk about Athenaeum token uses all the time. I don't necessarily want to commit to anything, so you'll see it when we ship it.
Yeah. I mean, and just like to put a button on it, like what we're trying to build is just a huge ecosystem where all the tokens interact with one another to optimize for fun and world building. And the Athenaeum is definitely a part of that. Okay. Let's see. Mester Brown, so you asked a really fun question. And if you guys will allow me like 5 to 10 minutes to expound on this. Mr. Brown asks the very simple question, how many moons are in the universe? And you might think I don't have anything to say about this, but I actually have a lot to say about this.
I would think you'd have something to say about it.
Yeah, get your notepads out, everybody.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah. Please take notes. This is critical. Okay. So the universe is Earth in the future, as we all know, and not just narratively, but literally. So I think there's just one moon, i.e., the same moon we have now. But I'm not totally sure on this. I just think this is the case. I don't know. Okay. So now, when I say that, I think a lot of you might be thinking, damn it, Elf, just give us a solid answer on the facts of the universe. We need to know these cold, hard facts so we can write some lore. Here's why I'm not going to do that. The universe is a reflection of the real world. Okay, so you might say, great, the real world has one moon, solved. But no, that's not the full reflection of the real world. In our world, for better or for worse, fact-based empirical reality is not a universal constant in the minds of the populace. We are living in an era where even flat earth theory is considered a reality by a staggering number of people. The moon landing itself is questioned as a hoax. In fact, so many of once accepted truths are now being questioned. And so, in the minds of human beings, it's just impossible to get 100% consensus on how the reality of this world is built. In other words, the construction of reality itself is decentralized. If 99% of the humans on this planet believe there is one moon, I guarantee there's that 1%, millions of others who believe otherwise. Okay, so if the universe is a reflection of the real world, that is the reflection that I'm trying to adhere to. So this to me is the only real way to do the collaborative legendarium, the decentralized world build, the open source Middle Earth. If you want my take on the moon of the universe, then yeah, there's only one moon. But maybe there's some wizard astronomers out there among you that will find another hidden moon right behind the one that I can't see. And so, I love that you asked me these questions, but I don't want you to think that my answers are the cold, unquestionable facts, because I'm not the sole creator of this world. When I answer these questions, just hold the caveat that these are just my opinions and not canonical authority. These are just Elf's take on the universe for whatever that's worth. Okay. Now, that said, you did ask me the question, so I'll go a little deeper. I'll give you my take. If you've noticed, I've been putting the moon motif in a lot of things that we build. It's everywhere if you just look for it. And I put it there because, to me, it's a really powerful symbol of the magic and the machine. It's a machine because the physics in our universe, all the celestial bodies in it, like the moon, it all operates like clockwork. The sizes, the masses, the movements, all of these objects seem to function in precise machine-like ways. This is why I love that Flammarion engraving where the wizard is peering behind the veil and he sees the machinery of the heavens. And of course, the moon is one of these objects. The idea of adding more moons or having zero moons would have a profound effect on the planet and all life on it. The size and the distance of our current moon is just absolutely critical to the ecosystem of this planet. If any of these variables were changed, or if another moon was somehow added to the Earth's orbit, the effect would just be catastrophic. And okay, so that's the machine. Then the magic of the moon is just it's very heavy all throughout the history of mysticism. It's usually associated with strong emotion, subjectivity, even madness. Werewolves come out during the full moon. Crime statistics in the real world literally go up. And so, to bring it back to the universe, if the universe is the result of a future singularity, then there is some vector through which magic has entered our plane of reality, and perhaps an additional moon entering orbit is just that thing. You could guess that maybe the gravitational pull of an extra moon is what pulls the continents to collide once again into this sort of neo-Pangea. And as I say that, I have effectively answered small Protect's question, which is, what is the name of the Runiverse landmass? I've been calling it Neo-Pangea, but if somebody else wants to come up with a more fun name, let's see if that bubbles to the top.
Speaking of something coming into orbit, space news for you. I don't know if you've heard, but there is a green comet that can be seen tonight for like the next week. Out, it's going to be near the Little Dipper, and it's called the E3 comet, and it only comes around once every 50,000 years. So,
and what's really fun is Dota just made that whole thing up. You see what I mean? Like Dota. No, I believe you, Dota. That sounds awesome. A green comet. I love it.
Wow, you just doused Dota with a big cold water.
Now I've got to get my binoculars out there. Maybe.
Dota, get a long lens on that camera. Let's get
exactly.
Let's get some video footage and send it to Elf.
Yeah, please. I look forward to it. Okay, I think that's all the questions we have. Yeah, I always feel like I missed some, but yeah, I think unless somebody else wants to come up and ask a question, it's always open. Okay, 3D update. Unless you guys have anything else to say before we move on.
Let's do it.
Go.
Okay, this is something I'm very excited about. My time the past few months has been mostly devoted 3D. Me and Frog and Molly and the 3D team this has been taking up the majority of our time. And so I have a very exciting announcement to make. A few months ago, we put out a call to people who we said, if you want your 3D model done first, let us know and we'll put you at the top of the line. Well, I am now excited to say that we have all of those requests done.
Woohoo! That's amazing.
That's unbelievable.
It's unbelievable. Yeah. Now I say that, but we're not going to deliver them until next week. But they're done, and they look amazing. And so yeah, I can't wait to get them into your hands. Let me just say a few things about them. So yeah, I mean, it's taken so long because, as I've said before, the CG assets, especially game assets, have to be built in such a precise way. With this particular project, one thing that's made it so crazy is we have to make sure that every single head aligns with every single body, and that not only does it mechanically fit, but it looks good too. And doing that for like 10,000 combinations is crazy, but we're doing it. Another thing.
I have another reason why it's taken so long.
Okay, sure.
Because we did the entire collection and then decided we didn't like it and we started over.
You're never going to live that down.
It's fine. I mean, I think we should wear it as a badge on our sleeves. Like we have a quality bar that we demand of ourselves, and it didn't reach it, so we started over. It's how Pixar makes movies.
Exactly. Yeah, and then another thing that's crazy but fun is these are metaverse assets, which means they have to work in a large variety of contexts. And so we're working with a handful of other 3D teams who are making their own metas, and we have to ensure that our assets work in all of their pipelines. And so it's crazy because we're working with Team A and we're working with Team B, and we're making sure our characters work for both, but Team A and Team B are not talking to each other. And so this is the current challenge of building the metaverse, and it's fun and it's exciting because the future belongs to those who build it.
Also, Team A and Team B are really impressive teams.
Oh yeah,
I'll say that.
Oh, I can't wait until we can talk about Team A and Team B, and C and D and E. But yeah, and so just a few more things on that. We're going to deliver these as FBX files If you want another file format, just DM me. We can do Blender, we can do Maya, we can do GLTF, whatever you want. We're also going to deliver the texture files as PNGs. You can use them as they are, or you can alter them yourself in Photoshop. In fact, if you want to make a change to the model itself, you probably could if you know the proper software. Things you can do with these. You can bring them into any game engine you want. You can take them over to Mixamo and apply animations to them. You can bring them into your 3D software. Really, anything you can think of. And one reason I want to get these out early is because obviously we want you to have fun and make content with them, but also this is kind of a QC thing. We want you to test them out and see if there's any issues. If you have any bugs or anything else you don't like, let us know. And then finally, I just want to say that, this is just a first round. Ultimately, we intend to get all 10,000 wizards out there, followed swiftly by the souls. And, we really want to get these into the hands of non-technical people. This is critical. If you don't know Blender or Photoshop or any complex software, we intend to build tools and interfaces that allow you to use them in fun ways. I want everybody in the cult to get use out of the assets. You'll definitely be able to use them in other metas that we partner with. That's the baseline case, but Magic Machine has some fun ideas as well.
Yeah, I just want to underline that it's a slow rollout and we don't have a timeline, but we definitely want to create a way for anyone who doesn't know any 3D software to play and create content. So I think that's one of the most important things. I mean, that Clone X collection, I think they're great, but you need to really have a certain level of understanding of pretty difficult 3D software, and our goal is that for anyone can just step in and use a mouse and arrow keys.
Exactly. Okay, Jitsi, I hear you've been playing in the sewers.
Yeah,
he's probably playing right now. Let's be honest.
And by that, you just mean sitting on the toilet.
It's like SBF right now.
I play on the toilet. I had to move
Jitsi.
the toilet seat in here, and so
I hear
Right.
a faint little sound, but you may want to disconnect and come back.
Can you hear me? You can't hear me?
Yeah, get a little advantage on the throne.
I just wanted to bring Jitsi up here because, it was super fun this week. Our very own wizard really took the spotlight. Dookie Dash, the game put out by Yuga, has been dominant on crypto Twitter lately, and our very own Jitsi was sitting in first place for, I don't know, a few days at least. Jitsi, how did you get so good at playing around in the sewers?
Okay, can you guys hear me? Is my mic coming through?
Yeah.
Yeah, you were coming through before just fine. He was just joking.
Oh, got it. It's a good question.
I never heard him.
It's a lifelong addiction to just like playing competitive video games at a level to where if I'm bad at something, I refuse to be bad and just get good. And so this was the prime opportunity to do that because it's a game that I actually haven't played before, which is like a speedrunner. And so it really just comes down to one thing. And if you guys will let me rant a little bit as to why.
Please. Yeah.
It's just a matter of time commitment most of the time, and then also being able to approach a game from a perspective of like, how can I learn this in the fastest way possible, which I've done with a lot of games. And then also to be said, your dexterity has to be somewhere that's accurate or like across the top 5% with a mouse or keyboard, whatever it is, which I already had, right? Like not very many people are going to be competing at the top. Their dexterity isn't where it needs to be. So I already had that one on lock. It's really just like breaking down the game. And at that point, it's just like time committed to do it. That being said, I think what Yuga did is fantastic. I'm a huge believer in skill-based games in general. And I actually came to this space because of stuff like this, because I believe for the longest time now, gamers have been underpaid for how much time and commitment they put into things they do. Similar to what we've seen with artists in this space too, right? But like, for example, like all of 10 years ago, when I was like at the peak of my professional play, I had like 20,000 hours in Counter-Strike, which everyone's heard 1,000 times from me, but we weren't getting even paid like what's considered to be like a good salary, right? So you have people that are quite literally masters at something. If you have 10,000 hours in something, right? Like there are there are surgeons and other people that like aspire to have 10,000 hours clocked in surgery, right? Like, and they're getting paid pennies on the dollar. So what this does, and people are complaining about it in real time right now, which is like, well, doesn't it just make it so that whales pay gamers to play? Hell yeah, it does. But like that was going to happen. Like the gamers are going to win regardless in the situation, no matter what, right? Like either A, I'm going to get paid for it in the process, or B, I'm going to beat you anyway. So like, why are we talking about that? What's really happening is just like a shift in like people that dedicate time into games and put in the most energy and like pick it apart and they like adapt and be better. They're getting paid a lot of money to be good at it. So I saw the opportunity. I'm still grinding at it. I have a lot of delegated wallets on different accounts that I basically charge to be able to hopefully hit a rank for them. And I've enjoyed it. I think it's awesome. Continue to do it. Some of the connections I've made so far have been fantastic. And I've only tried to push it to people that I've met to Wizards too. It's been some great conversations. So
one of the things that you'll do that's really interesting is you'll like hone in on trying to get better at like one specific skill. It's totally professional and not the way that most people approach video games in a casual way. Could you talk about that a little bit? Just like how you'll kind of try to dissect one maneuver, or how you think about approaching practice for something like this?
Yeah, I mean, this is one of my favorite conversations. Because for the longest time, I mean, there's the ongoing debate, are esports players real athletes? My answer to that is yes, because it's the way you practice and the way you approach it. And like from day one, when it comes to competing within video games, not even competing, sorry, playing video games, you have two mindsets of play, which is, these are both fine, acceptable. I have casual friends and games that I play very casually. But if you're playing it for entertainment value and escapism, you're not going to be a competitor. But if you're trying to compete, you have to look at it a certain way. And so this comes with a variety of things, like from how you look at individual play and breaking it down from a practice schedule to having teammates around you that help you and you have conversations about it. It's like figuring anything else out, right? Like it's going to be better with a lot of people, harder by yourself, and then you have to basically just break it down and put in hours of time to do that thing. Like, for example, day 1 or day 2 of Dookie Dash, I was simple, like, figure out how to play this game as best as I possibly can with my experience prior to this. Let's go. Day 3 was, okay, I understand the game. Now, how can I maximize points? Day 4 was like, all right, I'm maximizing points, but what can I use in this current meta to be able to like get the advantage that not many people are seeing? And like staying ahead of that meta just comes down to breaking it apart, having terms of risk assessment, knowing your abilities and what you're not doing and doing correctly, watching demos of what you did wrong and being okay and accepting it. Like there's a whole process. And this goes back to what I did before when it came to directing esports and being in the scene. It's just like taking it at a competitive level and then going the extra step with people around you that are going to inspire you to be better at it, right? Now I'm doing it by myself right now with a couple of people in Discord, but it's just refusing to lose and then showing up every single day to do it again and again and again until there's no one else doing it as hard as you are. That's really all it is. If I had to sum it up to one thing on how you be the best at games in general, is just put in the time. Like sit down, do it. Oh, cool, I lost, do it again. I lost, do it again. I lost, do it again. And then just never give up. Like that is the one thing I think a majority of my pro friends in all of esports did. They were absurdly addicted to playing the game of their choice, and you couldn't peel them away from the computer until they were like top 1% in the world. Full stop.
Jitsi, I love what you were saying about gamers being hired to game because they've put 10,000 hours into the craft, and so of course they should be paid to do it. I think in 5 to 10 years you are going to be this wandering kobold, like the Mandalorian, like this mercenary for hire who just gets paid to game. I think that's your future, and that
what he's saying is, Jitsi, you're fired.
I think it's the opposite. I think this is peak. I mean, the kids are going to grow up and just school Jitsi. You think he's going to be able to contend with a 12-year-old who grew up in a VR headset?
Oh, it's funny to watch the progression of players, to be honest. There's a lot of pros and cons to growing up and playing competitive in my era versus what it is now. You're probably right, though. Reflex-wise, I think it's the next generation and step. But like, there's a lot to be said about experience within esports, too. But I completely agree with what you said, and whatever I can do to leverage my abilities in gaming, hopefully I can push it forward for our community and our team. That's like all I can hope for in this space, and you guys help me activate them. So
I really love what you said about like this idea of the two mindsets too, that you have like one mode which is like I'm just playing to enjoy this thing, and then the other mode is like I'm focusing on fixing a specific deficiency. And I think that that's like so important for like playing an instrument, like playing a sport, play like doing trading, for example, right? To when you're able to kind of like hone in on like a specific like mechanism or specific movement that you know that you're bad at, and then you like give yourself opportunities to practice it, so that way in that moment you can correct it when you're operating by instinct. I think that's like such a valuable piece of advice on becoming an expert at anything.
Right. Yeah. The phrase "giving yourself opportunity" is everything. Like, you have to put yourself in situations to where you have to make a choice actively thousands of times, hundreds of thousands of times, and then like on the 110th time, whatever it is, maybe it'll click and you can get that down. Each one's a spectrum on those individual skills and abilities, but like you have to do it. You have to fail. If you don't fail and you not try to pick it apart, you're not doing it right. So it's just like being okay with being bad at something is the first step to being good at something, which is a quote from Adventure Time, and I love that show.
I love that
All
quote.
skills lead back to Adventure Time.
Yeah.
I really love that. I love how popular Dookie Dash has been. I mean, you could say, oh, it's only popular because it's Yuga, and maybe there's truth to that, but still, like, the fact remains, it's a Web3 game or a crypto game that is very popular, and you know, I think we're all kind of like waiting for that, like the NFT app, the Web3 game that really just catches fire, and I'm seeing a glimmer of that here.
And I'll add to this too, because the team hears this from me all the time, and this is what I'm a maxi on. I'm a huge maxi on skill-based games because it results in my time and commitment. I can beat other people that don't put time and commitment in, which is like what you want to have in skillful adventures. Like, and we've seen the uptick in Twitch streaming and games and like what's being watched and what's being competed in at high level from tech companies that have eyeballs on it, and it's skill-based, usually FPS games. Like, this is one mini game that has a very high skill ceiling that everybody is playing, and your skill ceiling is up to you. Like, you get to choose how far in you want to go into this game, but I can go into it and I can play for 48 hours straight, and like that's where I want to be, right? Like, I get to pick the level of difficulty I'm going to take it to, and that's only defined by the skill ceiling of mechanics put into a game. I could rant about this for days. I've taken up way too much time. Thank you for the conversation, though.
Jitsi, you can rant on Wizard Wednesday anyway. This is any day.
Yeah, you've taken the perfect amount of time is what you've taken.
and you're not fired. I don't know why we have to fire somebody every Wizard Wednesday.
Who's next?
Who's next? We can chop your head off, though.
Logging out with our own company. It's all good.
Yeah. We're sending you to the HOC. Go get your head chopped off.
All right, let's talk about pony racing. Speaking of competition, this week, race number 6, I believe it is, in first place was Queenie the Extraordinary by Mala. Second place was Styx the Efficacious, OX Sharon's pony. And in last place was Nana the Quaint by Schlee. Now there's something fun about this week's race. There were prizes awarded to the winners, prizes donated by other cult members. And so Mala, who was in first place, won the External Rose, which came from the Order of Eternal Rose. Sharon won a Black Sand mount from the council, which by the way, there's a whole group on Discord who is creating new mounts for the Wizards to race on. That is super fun. I dipped in there the other day. There's some really cool stuff going on in there. So Sharon has just won one of those mounts. And then Nana the Quaint by Schlee won a tiny cult doll from Mester Brown. Oh, and then, sorry, let's see, there's Lucky 13th place, which was won by Pony of Fire, who's owned by Hin Boyd, and he won a treat box from Red. And if anyone is at all interested, I am still in 28th place, and Dota is still in 57th. We've barely budged from our places at all, even though I thought I made some pretty good rolls this week, and I don't even know if Dota is rolling at all. So there's something fishy about these Black Sands metrics. No, just kidding. Legatus, we love Black Sands. I've even heard that the lore behind Black Sands is being developed, and we may soon find out where on the Runiverse map the Black Sands pony racing is. But
You're in 28th.
I'm in 28th. Yeah.
How many Legatus? How many treat boxes do I have to burn to get into 27th?
I don't think that's how it works, though.
Wow, but I love the competitiveness.
Yeah, finally. I think you need to cure your horse's blindness first, Dota.
Head to the more.
Yeah. Okay, another fun thing that happened this week is well, in the past I would spend Wednesday mornings in addition to creating a loose script. I would also pour through Twitter and try to find the cult content for this week. But to my surprise, somebody has done this job for me. Our very beloved Tanya Del Rio has started a I guess a Twitter thread called the Cult Content Chronicle.
So good.
Yeah, it's amazing. Look at Tanya's Twitter page and you'll see this. So I'm just going to use this for as long as I can to go over the cult content. And so first, we've got a really fun piece of cult content, actually from Dota. Dota, do you want to tell us what it is? Do you know what I'm talking about?
It was a Rice Krispie cake of my Dota head. It was incredible. So first off, I love Rice Krispies. Rice Krispie treats are like my trigger food. Like if I can't eat just one, I'll eat like an entire pan if I eat one. And so my friends know this. Yeah, and they made a cake of my Dota head out of colored Rice Krispie treats and food coloring. It took them like hours, and I was so thankful. It was really fun.
How much of the head did you eat?
I've eaten the whole thing.
By yourself or with the Dota
No.
family?
With the family. No, I'm just kidding. It was by myself.
You were feeling guilty.
Yeah, I mean, this is what I love about pixel art. You can do just about anything with it, including Rice Krispie treats. Yeah, and then secondly, El Dojang Music. Apparently, Leaf Dojang made a really, I actually don't know what this is. It says Black Hat Mint. Dota, do you know anything? You were talking about black hats the other day, but you never expanded on that.
I don't know what it is, so maybe someone could come up and talk about it.
Yeah, I'm looking at it now, and I probably should have researched more as to what this is. But anyway, it's a black hat project by Leaf Dojang. Let's see. Secondly, on Tanya's list, we've got, of course, the Runes trading card game. There's a bunch of fun new cards that I'm seeing. There's a really good one that Sweetbread made of this hilarious little fluffy pink and white cat. We've been seeing a lot of really good art from the trading card game lately. Loving Runes TCG. And then Daniela Elastra and Artsy has shared a lot of great content this week. Daniela showed her sketchbook, which is just chock full of amazing artwork. This is why physical books are awesome. We love our digital collectibles, but will they ever compare to physical art? I don't know. And then, we were talking about Jitsi being the video game wizard earlier today, and Emma went ahead and made the parody poster, the Runiverse poster of the wizard. Do you guys remember that wizard movie from like the early 90s?
Oh yes.
Yeah, it was just one big Nintendo ad, right?
Yes, exactly.
It was Fred Savage. Fred Savage was the kid, right?
Yes. I freaking loved that movie when I was a kid.
I
The
love the
Power
Power
Glove.
Glove.
The Power
It's so
Glove.
bad.
So bad. It's so bad, but amazing.
Yeah, that quote right there, "It's so bad," is one of the most memorable quotes, right next to this quote, "California."
I don't
uh,
remember that, but I'm sure it
No,
happened.
yeah,
you don't
me
remember
either.
that quote?
Yeah, I
No.
remember. I remember that.
Thanks, Matto. Okay, speaking of Matto, do you have like some kind of new like AI generator for your character now?
Oh yeah, I'm actually using Stable Diffusion. I've just been training Stable Diffusion. It's been like a lot of time I've been putting into it and kind of like messing around with models and messing around with different methods of training and stuff. And I think like at first I was having issues where it was kind of like it was getting like a nice like it was kind of getting it, but it was missing like a lot of details. It was very kind of like messy. And I think I kind of do like the like I really like surreal arts and stuff. So like the more abstract styles that was coming out, I actually did like that. I wanted to lean more into it, but I just wanted to actually make it like actually pop out Magus Devon more. Um, so after training it a while and like tweaking it, it took a long time, but I think I got it to like give out some very like it very um concretely like spits out Magus Devon very like with a lot of details very consistently now. So I'm looking forward to like pushing it out more. I have some great stuff that I've generated, and I just kind of like doing every now and then I take some gems that I find that are nice, and I make like GM posts with them and such. But yeah, thanks. Thanks for noticing. It's been great and really fun to kind of like make her design pop out from the generator, and hopefully I can like make some images here or there. I'm still gonna like obviously commission artwork, like that's never gonna go away. But it's nice to be able to like supplement my own art every now and then with the AI.
Yeah, your character is just becoming truly iconic, and I think it's interesting. Like we've seen a lot of people using the generator to make one-off pieces of art, but this is a new level to like train it on a single character.
Yeah. I've been specifically trying to train just on her.
That's really cool. I love it. Very cool.
I love it too. I wanted, it's just so iconic and like the perfect example of what we're trying to do. I think that like Magus Devon and I think Wise Sam, for example, would be another similar one where the character has become just so stand out when you see it in all these different interpretations. And so, yeah, I want to do a thread just highlighting it because the Magus Devon art is there's so much. I even asked you for like a zip file of it this week, and now that I'm looking at your Twitter feed, there's a ton here on your Twitter feed that I don't even think were in that zip. There's just so much.
I think those are the AI gens. I specifically didn't put those in because they're like I said, they're kind of like gens. I think the what I sent you only has like one gen that I put in there. It's like a base
Okay.
gen that I like going off of.
Yeah.
But yeah, I think the ones that I just throw into my feed because those are kind of like sitting in my folder of like literally I'm generating like thousands of these like and like picking up the best of them. So it's like those ones I'm not really putting in there because like if I did it would be like so many it would actually flood that folder. So.
Cool.
Give a hoot. What's up?
Hey, what's happening?
Hey,
Not much. Happy Wizard Wednesday.
happy Wizard Wednesday.
Yeah, so you kind of touched on it a little bit. The runes cards, we've started to leak a few. I hope everyone's really enjoying the art. It's taken me every ounce of self-control not to like just post all of them. But it's been quite the process. But we're kind of at the point where we're starting to get ready for the launch, which is happening 1 week from today. So I want just to shill for a quick second. The runes card set, which is 64 cards but 128 unique pieces of art, because each card has a both standard and alternate art version, to kind of act as like a shiny rare, to get in packs, which you'll be able to mint as packs, and then you can open, which are standalone NFTs, and you can actually open the packs to get your 9 cards that'll be in a pack. And so Mint is 1 week from today. I'll release the exact time, but yeah, I'll be blasting way more about it on Twitter and stuff. But just wanted to announce it on Wither Wednesday, and hope everyone's excited and hope everyone's enjoying the art so far. It's been so much fun, kind of, getting the art commissioned and kind of releasing it and all that good stuff. So.
I love it. It's so awesome. I cannot wait to see everything.
Yeah, one of my favorite things is not only is the art good, but you've introduced a lot of new creatures. The Null Goat being the first one I've noticed, and then that like butterfly fairy bear creature I saw the other day. You've got quite a bestiary that you're building, and which is you're really adding to the world with all this new stuff.
Yeah, I mean, and so thank you. It's been so much fun, and also some of my favorites are also, when we were developing the core set, I tried to get as many people from the cult involved as well. So today, the Kobold Attorney was submitted, was contributed by Reptar. He was the first person to actually chime into the channel and give an idea. I was like, this is brilliant. This is brilliant. This is a brilliant fucking card, and the art came out amazingly. Holy shit, the artists literally took exactly what Reptar had kind of prompted and just turned it into a masterpiece. And so, Runes first and foremost is a lore building tool. That's what it's meant to be. It's just meant to be another angle, another thing to add to the universe that helps people triangulate this entire world that we're building, and so I really hope that it continues to be that. And I really want to continue to have it be a platform for people's ideas and allow people to kind of create experience with it and help contribute to it growing and just kind of, just have it be part of the collaborative Legendarium.
I love the Kobold Attorney. He's reading the law book upside down. That shit is funny.
The art is so fun, and the and the cards are just so beautiful. I wonder if it makes sense to like mint the original artwork as opposed to like the individual cards, right? I know that like
continue, go.
Well, no, I just noticed that's a thing that like happens, and so that could be super interesting.
Actually, and thank you for reminding me. I totally forgot to let everyone know that part. So, I mean, there's a lot going on here. Part of the mint process is actually going to be, we're going to be raffling off the original art for the cards. And so, yeah, you're completely spot on. That's an excellent idea. Actually, Meeple Dad gave me that idea a few weeks ago. So huge shout out to him. He's also been just insanely helpful, as he always is. So how it's going to work is basically, as people mint packs, every week we're going to raffle off a few. I haven't come up with the actual number yet. I think it might be around 10 because there's 64 cards in total. So like 10 a week, it'll go for a few weeks. And basically every week, however many packs you mint, every pack will kind of be a raffle ticket. And and then the likelihood of you getting the art is dependent on how many packs you minted. And actually, a little other nuance is that the mint is going to consist of 2 pack types you can mint. One is going to be a special edition, which is a limited edition supply. I think about 1,000 of these packs will be mintable, and they'll contain more rare cards. And then after those are sold out, there's going to be standard edition packs, which are actually going to be open edition indefinitely. So basically, my idea is that I always wanted people to be able to mint a pack of Runes cards, no matter at what point Runes is in its lifetime. I don't want it to be some type of. I really wanted to avoid some of the Ponzi-nomics that can exist around stuff like this, where it's people who get in first and that's it, and then all of a sudden people are paying astronomical prices for an asset, which really shouldn't necessarily be that expensive. I want everyone to be able, like, Runes is for everyone. I want everyone to be able to play Runes. And so, that nuance aside, special edition packs are going to count as 3 raffle tickets. Standard edition is going to count as 1 raffle ticket. And then every week we're going to be raffling off the original art for these cards.
Amazing. Love it. Give a hoot. Before we run out of time, I just want to call out a few more pieces of amazing cult content. The Baron Court has got to be one of my favorite projects happening in the Runeverse. I freaking love the Baron Court. The characters are so good. The art is so good. Whoever is drawing the pixel art for this is just amazing. Just like everything about it is so damn good. It's just beautiful. And I'm looking at this one particular piece. I mean, even though it's a character from the Hall of Cats, even though it's still a beautiful piece. So yeah, I don't know. I just love the Baron Court. I think it's Battle Mage Bullock who's the artist behind all of this. It's just so rich, and it takes place in like just such a fun part of the Runeverse. I don't know. I can't give enough love to the Baron Court. Speaking of, well, actually, no. On quite the other end of the spectrum, we have probably the hottest new restaurant in the Runeverse, Danny's Diner, which apparently there's a news headline where one of Danny's Diners has fallen down and has killed the 72-year-old CEO of Magus I don't think that means Magus Wazir himself. Surely not. But a tragedy nonetheless. So Danny's Diner, I hope you have good lawyers. I know there's a few kobold lawyers out there you might want to look into. The Cabinet of Curiosity, we talked about them last week, is continuing their call for wizards, warriors, and souls and ponies to gather mirror shards to save Conjure Atlanta. That is an ongoing Runeverse experience. And then Black Sands, who we know for pony racing, it looks like they have warrior battles going on as well. I don't know too much about it, but apparently the Black Sands City Guard has now assembled. So yeah, I don't know too much about it, but I think Black Sands Pony Racing Twitter account can tell you all you need to know. I also want to give a shout out to Delta Mouse, who has been doing some really, really solid lore threads lately, focusing on the hat colors. I saw a really great green hat lore thread last week, and then this week was a really great thread on the brown hats. Not only is the lore really great in these threads, but Delta Mouse has mastered the AI art generation tools. You know, I've tried using them. I'm not very good at them. I keep getting results I don't want, but it looks like Delta Mouse has really mastered the tool. And I think Tiny Dolls by Mester Brown, still going strong. And on the topic of tiny art, Wizard Small has also been making tiny wizards. So we have 2 tiny wizard projects going, which is great. And I think that's all the cult content I'm seeing this week. Do you guys recall any others?
Oh, there's so much. I don't have any lined up though.
Yep. Yeah. Every time I try to curate cult content, I know I miss a lot. So I'm really glad that Tanya is now doing this through the Cult Content Chronicle. Okay, it is 6 past the hour. Anything else?
Nope.
Not really.
Bear, we haven't had an update from the Bear Cave in a while. Any final words you might want to give us from the Bear Cave?
I'm going to save it for next week because I think there'll be some stuff.
That sounds great. Okay, well, this has been Wizard Wednesday, channeling out from the Quantum Downs. This has been Elf, Doda, Matatsuki, Bear Snake, and the Dookie Dash champion, our very own Wizard Jitsi. G and everybody.
Get into it with me.